And we are live. Welcome to episode 343 of the Destiny Community Podcast, featuring drama and Rin. Rin, welcome to the show. This is your first time guest. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Hi. I am here. I'm in here.
You were saying before the show that you're actually trying to get, I already forgot the name of the thing, stream school?
Oh,
Trying to get
camp.
into streamer
Yeah.
school.
I need some of that. How do we get on that?
I'm sorry, stream camp, streamer camp, right?
Yeah.
Streamer camp.
Which is like a reality
it's
show.
This, sort of. It's basically, they've done it for a couple years now. This would be the fourth one, but they had to cancel the last one due to COVID. But it's essentially just like they get a bunch of nerds together, and then they do like this big live stream thing for 4 days where they do challenges and dumb things. Kind of think of it, I guess, as like Survivor, but without the eliminating, and it's just for fun. But it's this big long process of like, you apply and then you get looked at, you get approved, you move on to the next round, and then essentially I'm part of a group of 128 that's getting whittled down to 64, which will then get whittled down to 32, which will then get whittled down again to 16. And then once the 16 people are chosen, then they'll fly them out to LA and do fun stuff. So
Is it like one of those
Wow.
things
So
where
is
y'all
this
live in a
by
house
Twitch?
together?
no, it's not by Twitch. Yeah, you basically all all 16 people will live together in like this kind of mansion kind of thing that's being rented out.
I like mansions.
And it's being run by Fusli, Cutie Cinderella, Box,
Oh,
and
okay, I know that
K-Cat and K-Catamina.
Nice.
It's some pretty cool people. And like I said, this is the fourth year that they're doing it. Well, third technically, but yeah. I'm
Well, good
a
luck.
nervous bundle of anxiety and
Is there any kind of like voting?
Yeah.
Like, can we vote for you? No.
No. It's literally just like, you know how like you have to like give yourself you have to give an elevator pitch of like who you are to people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the hardest thing to do in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Because like, how do you talk about yourself in a way that's like, I'm literally the best thing ever? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way to not sound conceited in some way. So you basically fill out an application, and the first round was them looking at them on stream. So like, I was just in front of like 7,000 people, just being like, we should post. I don't know what else to say. Like, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I feel fortunate to even have been chosen to be a part of the 128. So because there were a lot of applications that went sent in.
Yeah, I
I
can
bet.
imagine. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Hope to see you in LA
Yeah.
in a mansion.
Yeah.
In a mansion in LA. that's
Completing
right.
ridiculous challenges.
We'll see. We'll see. Either way, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So what else do you do? You I know you stream Destiny. You also stream Variety, right?
Yes. Well, I used to primarily only stream Destiny. And then I kind of got to a point with the game where I was just like, I'm not having fun. And I did what seems to be really hard for a lot of Destiny community. I stepped away from the game and played other things
Huh?
Interesting.
Good advice. Good
for a
advice.
little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't
and I've
condone
been
this.
enjoying it. You will take your Destiny drugs and you will like them. No, I just kind of have been enjoying it as I've been wanting to play it, and that's kind of merited a like 2 weeks off, couple days on, maybe 2 weeks off, 3 weeks on. Like I just kind of take it as I want it,
Yeah.
which is a lot nicer because I'm never logging in and going, what do I do? And
Yeah.
then just run around the tower for 5 hours and then log out. You know, like I don't know. So I used to stream Destiny a lot, but now I kind of just do whatever I feel like, because I've always operated under the idea that like if I'm having fun, then other people are having fun, and if
definitely.
I'm playing a game that I am loathing, then that's going to lead to burnout, which was a topic that we were talking about just before we went live.
It
That
was
That
means
is
nothing to
definitely a
anybody
topic
else.
this week.
There is. There has
Um,
Burnout has been a pretty consistent topic.
I feel like that's always a topic in the Destiny community, though. Like, Destiny's been around for so long now. If you've only been playing Destiny for any stretch of time, I'm sure you've run across like, damn man, I just don't want to log in and do my weeklies this week. It's just not feeling it. Maybe I'll go play some Final Fantasy or something else. And then a lot of people come back. Some people don't. You know.
Yeah, I think some people
especially-
leave and they're just like, oh, I don't actually miss it that much, and then they don't come back.
What's it like over there on the other side? Many of us, those of us are like Kylo Ren. I wish to be free of this pain.
There's fields of gold. There's bunnies everywhere. Cows are going moo and playing with balls. It's fantastic.
I feel like it happens
yeah.
a lot around this time too. Like
Summertime.
we're in that time in between major DLCs for Destiny, and that's when a lot of people I think start to feel that burnout and disengage, and then
That's exactly it.
all the topic videos come out too, where everyone on YouTube is publishing content where there's nothing to do in the game, so they have to talk about burnout. And
Yeah, Destiny sucks because
other
I'm
issues.
burnout.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you playing right now then? Like what is your game of choice? Your newest game of choice?
Okay. I have become addicted to watching people speedrun only up.
Only up.
It is basically, Bennett Foddy's getting over it.
Yes.
It's basically that, but in 3D. It's like hate yourself sim. Which I am all for. Like I played Jump King and I absolutely crushed that game. I loved it. It was a ton of fun. Cat butt.
Yeah.
That will happen a lot.
Not heard of that game. Can you? Who makes that one?
Yeah. But no, I've been watching that and I've been wanting to play that. But my mainstay right now has been Diablo 4. I have been devouring that game. Had a bit of a tragic moment the first week when I was trying to gun for the level 100 hardcore character. I died to a what is suspected to be, now it could be a couple of things, but it's happened to multiple people. Quinn was one of them. I think it happened to Shroud as well. And I think someone else that was like second or third to hit 100 in the world, right? Where if you leave the game and you don't wait out the timer or you port out of a zone, you can just die.
I heard about this bug. Yeah, people were very upset about that.
Yeah. There's a server disconnect between like you and them to a degree where like it doesn't know what to do with you, and so it's just like, Lamau, you're dead now.
I guess we'll kill you.
I guess death is the only option.
Not a big problem when you're playing normal Diablo 4, but when you're playing hardcore, big problem.
I was crushed in that moment. And the stupid thing is, like, the really unfortunate thing is that I was at level 79. Okay, so the
really
XP curve,
high.
I don't know if you know what the XP curve is like, but once you get to 70, it's basically just like it is just completely vertical. And the halfway mark for the total XP to get from 1 to 100 is at 85.
Yep.
My character right now is level 86.
Oh,
If
wow.
I hadn't have died, I would have gotten on the statue.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
And it sucks. But yeah, I've been playing a druid and necromancer. It's been a ton of fun. And that's kind of, it's just basically been that. Obsessing over only up and then playing Diablo 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Diablo was a good game to put a bunch of time into.
Yeah, that game is a big time suck.
Yep. Big time.
How far did you guys get? Did you go hardcore on it?
I haven't even touched it yet. It is actually pretty far down on my list of games to play because I know how much time it takes to play it. And I played so much Diablo 2 that I think I like lost friendships over it.
Right.
So
Fair enough.
having a bit of an obsessive personality, maybe it's best to stay away from Diablo 4 for a bit.
Yeah, 2 and even 3 owned my soul for a good while.
Oh, dude, 3 was when Reaper of Souls dropped, and they like basically undid all of the crap that 3 brought in. man, that game devoured my life.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's funny how those personality traits come out so hard with Diablo. Like I've got some friends who don't play Destiny more, and then as soon as Diablo came out, it was like straight back in the veins. There's somehow working 2 jobs, 6 families, 4 kids, like level 100 already. Like, are you going to work? What are you doing? How are you
Took
doing
time
this?
off. Told the wife that, hey, I'm gonna be gone for like 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Took some vacation time with the family.
Is that how
Oh, the
long
boss
it's
is
been?
working from
Not
home?
2 weeks? Has it been 2 weeks? Is it or 3 weeks? How long has it been?
It's
2.5
2 and
now,
a half?
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
God, time flies.
yeah, it's old news.
It's
now.
actually-
all over.
Right?
What-
Yeah.
what's-
Came so last
What's
week.
really wild with, you make that joke, Mylan, but like every single Blizzard, like the Blizzard community is really, really good at finding the best way to do anything. If there is an optimal way to do anything in the game, they will find it and they will abuse it
Sounds like the
to
Destiny community.
hell and back.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Destiny. It's like the Destiny community on like some sort of fucking like on PCP. Like it is just
Yeah,
absolutely. fucking
it's like
wild.
taking just a stat portion of the Destiny community and then porting them over. I like stats and
and-
maths and Excel spreadsheets.
One of the
That's Fran.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. One of the things that's is most insane about the whole like the race to 100 thing is that like the numbers I think like a week ago were like 167 had completed it, and yesterday they announced that the other 800 spots had been filled up in that like small time frame.
I was gonna say, like, because I remember the last time I heard about it was that it was at around, like 100 and something, and then you said I would have got on the statue. I'm like, wait, there's been like that many in that short of time. But I
Yep.
guess everyone was progressing at a similar rate.
Mm-hmm.
So it just
Well, you
all-
got to
all
figure
fell
that
at the same
like
time.
when
The
the
bell
first
curve
100
cat
hit on
caught
the,
up.
yeah, when the first 100 hit, there was probably at least another 600 at 90, like 90 to 100, right? And then
Yeah.
people finding ways to bug out the dungeon system and also bug out chests so that they just infinitely give XP, kind of expedites things as well. So, like I said, they'll find a way to make it happen. In as little time as possible. They'll min-max the shit out of it.
Yep. Gamers.
So, should we jump into it? Speaking of getting burnout in Destiny, Watts, you were talking about this before the show a little bit.
This week has been quite the week for Bungie, I would say. There's been a couple of things that have happened of big community leaders who are a little upset about stuff, and then some other things have also happened. But on the subject of Burnout, there was a tweet earlier in the week from Grenada Jake, who he kind of just had reached the end of his fuse, right? Like he was playing Trials, he had played the same cheaters 3 times, and he put out a clip on Twitter of the stream being like, how is this allowed to happen? These people have been cheating all weekend, and they've ruined 3 of our cards, countless amounts of other people's Trials cards. How is this allowed to happen? Because they're hard cheating, right? This is like getting heavy ammo or flying.
Right.
It's not like someone is
It's
just
not some
hitting
Zim.
good shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like I plugged into Zim and have extra aim assist. It's, no, I'm a god and you can't kill me. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's because I think a lot of people are thinking like, how do you not know that if someone gets a heavy ammo kill in the first round, that they should just get banned?
Yeah,
Right.
It should be
flag,
automatic.
right?
Cheating.
Yeah.
Should be
Yeah.
an automatic ban. So he put out the tweet kind of just talking about that. And that was the beginning of this. And he's been talking for a while about wanting to not just play Destiny. It's been happening. I've watched his stream a lot, and it happens a lot where he's like, listen, Trials is kind of in the worst spot it's been for me. I'm really feeling it. And he was just in Greece recently. He'd had like a decent break away from Destiny or away from Trials, but he's come back and he's feeling the burnout again. So he said on Twitter earlier today that I'm not quitting Destiny, but streaming it exclusively when the spark isn't there will lead to burnout. So tomorrow he's beginning his journey stepping into variety.
Nice.
So this is kind of a big deal because Jake has always been like the guy that does
Right.
Trials no matter
Consistent.
what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
He's there 7 a.m. on Friday and he just plays all weekend. He played
Yeah.
through the whole like crazy cheater situation. So this is definitely a big deal, and it seems to echo what a lot of people are feeling as well. I've seen it from people who do play Destiny a lot, that they're like, I don't know what it is. I don't think Destiny's a bad game. I'm just not as invested in the story this season, and I'm just not really getting the urge to jump in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
The
go ahead, Milo. No, you go ahead.
So yeah, I played a little bit of Trials a couple of weekends ago, and yeah, had a blatant cheater. The dude was flying through the air, invincible, and then shooting through walls, right? Like
Yeah.
with Jotun. And
Sounds like you need to get good.
yeah, everyone's like, la skill gap. Anyway, I did the normal report, but actually Dado was watching the stream. He's like, yeah, honestly, do the online form to report them. I'm like, what do you mean the online form? He's like, there's actually like an online form to report the cheating. You attach the clip, fill out this form on Bungie's website, which I didn't even know existed, and that worked. They got banned in a couple days. But it's like it's a form that's like, you do not use this unless you are 1000% sure. It's like, you will be punished if you use this incorrectly. But for whatever reason, it's prioritized as something to look at. And obviously we had, because I was streaming, we had a clip of me like on the other side of the map getting shot by Jotun as a guy flies off into the sunset. So it's like very obvious. And yeah, a couple days later, I got the actual in-game notification. Thanks, we caught him, kicked him out. But I guess the point is what Watt said is like, how is it not, when it's really blatant, how is there not some sort of automated detection? If you're getting heavy on round 1 and firing 600 rounds of rockets, how is that not getting picked up earlier? And I think that's where like the frustration comes from.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, they've already said for Marathon, we need to be on point with the cheat detection. And this is like,
definitely some of the frustrations coming from
ask,
that
like,
too, right, Mylan? Like,
absolutely.
People, like the way they talk about what they're doing for anti-cheat and for dedicated servers, like for the next game, but PvP has been in such a bad place for several years now, and Destiny, that's got to leave a bitter pill.
Yeah, it makes Destiny PvPers feel like the redheaded stepchild, the neglected one, the one that's not getting the love, not getting the affection. And I understand, I mean, the technical side of things, it's not like Destiny's an old game. You can't just go in there and be like, oh, well, let's just slip in all these fixes. It's not that easy. It's a lot easier to build something from the ground up with new features built in. So it's like, yeah, I get it, but it doesn't make it feel any better. As a Destiny PvPer. I think another part of the burnout that people are feeling is undeniably the fact that Destiny just continues to be Destiny, but it's not necessarily innovating. It's not going to new places. You know what I mean? Especially on the PvP side of things. I mean, there's nothing new. There's no development on PvP. PvP just continues to exist the way that it has existed for years now with no further development. So I mean, naturally, if there's no new content to engage with, players are going to get tired. They're going to get burnout because you can only load into the exact same map with the exact same loadouts. And it's like, oh, you know, you might get a new gun, but it's just a different 750 SMG, right? You know, with the same perks that have been the S tier perks for years now. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just more of the same. And then you've got all these other new games that are coming out right now, especially it's been a great year for gaming where people are innovating, pushing the envelope with their titles. And that's exciting for gamers, especially Destiny players who are feeling like, I'm just treading water here. I want to do something new. Get caught up in a new adventure.
Also,
do you reckon, I had this thought today, do you think live service gaming has been a net positive or a net negative for the gaming industry, like
negative
as a whole?
Negative,
it's probably
undoubtedly.
It's really hard to, because you have these dates to hit, right? And you have to hit them.
Yeah.
And with a single player game, like obviously it's going to cost you money if you need to delay it and you've made that announcement. But ultimately you're working on this thing, and when it's out, and you're going to do some fixes to it. But with the live service, you're constant. If you go a little bit far behind, if you are a little bit delayed, your whole everything is delayed. Everything will be delayed, and then that cuts into all of the money. And I know that it can be incredibly stressful working on live service games, even if you're not, you know, someone at the top of it who has to organize any of it, and they're incredibly expensive.
The
I mean, I'm
the
also
carrot on the
thinking
end of
from
the
the
stick
gate,
though
like,
is like massive amounts of money, and that's why we keep seeing companies go after it. And that's why Sony bought Bungie and is having Bungie like teach other people how to do it, because it's just there's such a massive amount of money like just sitting there waiting. But the problem is, right, is if you build a game that is designed to never end, like of course you're gonna have people burn out on it. There's like no doubt about it. There's nobody sitting here who hasn't burned out on a Destiny at some point, right? Like, of course, after 10 years,
Yeah, I think that's like what I'm getting at is I think we're starting to see the impact of just the gaming community as a whole that previously would buy a game, play it for a while, and then move on. And then now you have just everyone being a live service game and trying to keep you on their platform that, like, it's inevitable we're going to get to the point where people are just sort of really unhappy.
And how many live service
locked
games
into
can you
a
play?
game?
One.
Yeah.
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 Like
realistically,
I think
1, 2.
I think the whole model itself is, I don't know, like, do I like the idea that like I can play Diablo for the next 6 years potentially? Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
that's a
I
hard
love
part.
that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
However, and this is something I've said before, which I think it applies to pretty much every live service now. I've always liked the adage or whatever that I'm not a gamer, I'm a World of Warcraft player. I'm not a gamer, I'm a D4 player. I'm not a gamer, I'm a Destiny player. I'm not a gamer, I'm a Fortnite player, right? Like, because the games take up so much of your time that there is no room for anything else. So, like, especially if you're like the Joe on the street who's got a 9 to 5 and kids and stuff, you got 2 hours every night, maybe, to dedicate to a little bit of fun. Are you gonna go with like? Are you gonna deep dive and like? Are you gonna ping pong around, or are you gonna fall in love with like the Call of Duty Warzone and just play that for the next like 50 years of your life, and then you don't have time for anything else anymore? Like I don't know.
I don't know that
Also
I
a
would
comfort
at the
say.
same
thing,
time-
yeah, could be a comfort thing too. Like, it's real easy for you to just be like, I'm gonna jump into the game that I play all the time. Because if you start up a new game, it's like starting a new show. You've got to get like attached to the characters again, attached to the world. You got to learn all of this stuff. But it's a lot easier to just be like, I'm just gonna turn on my
Like
game that I've been playing forever,
time
even if you don't
cost
like
of
it that much
entry
anymore.
takes forever, right? Like learning,
Yeah.
being new at a game and sucking. There's some pain involved with that sometimes, right? Especially with live service.
I mean,
game.
I'm also speaking from like a point of like I used to be an MMO rat. Like I played World of Warcraft for 8 years, and like I was damn good at it too. When I got towards the end of the time of me playing that game, I wouldn't even do anything. I would log in and I would run around as Orgrimmar, or run around in Orgrimmar just as an orc, just kind of. I didn't know what to do. I would do the same loop around the city. I would run the exact same loop. I would dip into the jewel crafter and then come back out and keep running, dip into the other profession I had at the time, which I think was like inscription or something. And then I would just run back out. And that's literally all I did until it was raid night. And then we would, get 20 people, do the raid. 3 hours later, we're done, clean up shop, back to running laps in Orgrimmar. Like,
I did a survey of Destiny players for my game show, right? And the question was, what do Destiny players do when the server's down? And the majority of the answer was nothing. They would rather
Yeah,
sit.
I was really
wait,
surprised,
wait,
actually. I
Sorry,
was really
sorry.
surprised.
The majority answer was complain on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the
this sounds
the
right.
second thing was just wait. It wasn't play
Just
different game.
wait.
It wasn't do something else. It was just wait.
Just wait.
Huh.
Just wait.
that's
Yeah.
wild,
Well,
dude.
yeah,
That's
but-
wild.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here just a little bit on this live
please do.
service conversation.
Okay.
First of all, Mylan, to speak to that point, most of the time when server downtime hits, it's right on the cusp of a lot of the reasons people sign in to begin with, right? They want to check the vendors,
True.
see the refreshes, what did reset bring, what's Xur got, what's the trials map today.
Okay.
It's like those moments when they plan on, I'm going to log into Destiny because this is the specific moment during the day or during the week that I actually care to check. So
Yeah.
that
That's a
could be
solid
why
point.
people sit and wait for the servers to come up, because that's what they sat down to do, right? This is part of their weekly routine. So I will say that. Also, as far as live service games go, I don't have a problem with them for a number of reasons. First and foremost, I think the community aspect, being a part of a community that is so consistent, has actually been really good for me. I know the Destiny community can get a ton of flack, but I have met some of the best friends that I have right now are people who have met in the Destiny community. We keep up with each other, and what's the one thing we have in common? Well, we log in on Tuesday at reset. We get together, we knock out the dungeon runs on reset. Maybe we plan on a raid night, and it's great to have something that is consistent. And I don't have a problem with live service games so long as they don't stifle innovation in other areas of gaming. And I don't think it has. I mean, think of some of the biggest titles that have even come out in recent years. I mean, like Elden Ring, Game of the Year. That's not live service. It's a lot of these single player games that really captivate people for a limited time. It's kind of what they're designed to do. So I don't think it's necessarily stifled innovation in those other categories of games either. So I don't know. You can argue that they're somewhat predatory. I think you can make the case for that.
Well, I
that
think
they try to target your
100%
wallet.
agree with your point. I mean, that's why Bungie changed their motto. It's changed to what we make games to play with friends or something, because they know getting off a live service game is way harder if your friends are there. And that is one of the things that live service games try to prey on, is that you make content that requires a clan and a group, because when you make a friend in that live service game, it's always easier to go that live service game with your mates. And there's, of course, there's positives for that. But now we've moved away from your friends don't exist unless they play the same game as you. And that's the flip side of that coin. Is how many friend groups have been disbanded because they're not playing the same game.
And there
might have been a time before live service where you would get in a Discord and just chat, and you might be playing different games, but you're there. But now it's like, hey, you're not in this room, I'll let you do on the raid. You're not in this room, I'll let you do on the dungeon. You're not in this room if you're
Sure, but it's also not the developer's job to maintain your friendships. If you've got a meaningful connection and a meaningful friendship, that's on you to maintain it, not necessarily the developer of the game that you play.
Yeah,
there are also
that most people don't do that though.
There are direct video games and developers who have had ideas and been known for a specific thing, but been forced to make live service games. Redfall this year, I think, is a perfect example of this. Arcane Studios makes Dishonored. People love their type of game. They made Prey, Deathloop, and they were forced to make, Redfall, a live service style game. And they had no business making that. They didn't want to make it. They were just forced to because it's where the suits saw the money.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Do you think a game's fun value should be defined by the multiplayer experience?
No. It can be additive to it. But
I think it depends.
A Mario Brothers game is fun. It doesn't have to be multiplayer to be fun.
Right.
Yeah, it depends on what the game's designed to target, yeah.
Right. Do you think that games like Destiny should be fun alone and then be amplified by the multiplayer experience?
It really depends on what your design goal is. You can make a game that is specifically only for multiplayer, and it's fun.
There's definitely solo aspects of Destiny that are fun, to be honest.
There are, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, most of what I do on Destiny is solo.
Yeah, same here.
Just curious, just wanted to throw that out there. I find a lot of people judge a game's fun value based on the multiplayer experience when it's not. A great example of this, I think, is something like Overwatch, right? Overwatch is designed to be a multiplayer experience. It is a lot more fun with your friends. It is an absolute nightmare by yourself. Right?
Yeah.
It's not objectively.
That's a lot of games, though.
Yeah.
Right. I personally have never liked the idea of games being designed from a multiplayer design point first, unless it is an exclusive thing like Tarkov, where that is the point, right? It is meant to be this multiplayer, or not Tarkov, that was a bad example. It's escaping me.
Left 4 Dead might be that, right?
That's
made
the goal is you are not supposed to play it by yourself, right? And I have found that one of the reasons why I ended up stepping away from Destiny was I wasn't enjoying the time that I had alone with the game, like at all. The only time I was having fun was with other people. And then it dawned on me, well, why am I having fun with the other people? Because what I'm doing is essentially the same thing, right? And came to the conclusion of, it's the people that are making it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know. I just wanted to throw that question out there. It's a bit of a nothing thing. But
going back to Grenader Jake, I actually don't see this as like so much a condemnation of Destiny itself as it is just, you know, when you get sick of something, you only are going to see the flaws in it, right? Like, yeah, he's sick of it. You know, he came back from vacation and it didn't solve that for him. In fact, maybe it even like shed a new light on like, do I,
right.
You know, after going to Greece, do I really want to come back and sit in this chair and play Destiny for, you know, 80 hours a week? Like, maybe, yes, there are certainly flaws in Destiny, but there's also like major flaws in just doing like the same thing, you know, so many hours per week.
He puts in crazy hours.
Yeah, he puts in big number of hours.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yeah, of course you're gonna get burnt out, and like, I don't know. I'm glad he's switching. Like, great.
Me
I think
too.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
He's got one of the most supportive communities I've ever seen.
That's great.
On like any stream. So I think this is just going to show him that he doesn't have anything to be afraid of. They're still going to be just as supportive, and he's going to be able to play whatever he wants. And he's going to have a blast. And I'm actually kind of excited to see where he ends up going, because he has only played Destiny outside of like sponsorship activations for this entire time.
How many people in the Twitch directory 8 years ago are still there? You know, like, it's like a lot of newer people.
I mean, none.
Yeah, it's a lot of much newer people, right? The Destiny community is really kind of turned over. Like, there's a lot of new players, new streamers, new YouTubers compared to what there were 6-7 years ago, which is kind of refreshing because you get to see new takes, not just like the same old like I'm sick of this take.
Do you think when he says variety, do you think it would be still like first-person shooter variety, or would it be like whatever's the hot topic variety?
I don't know if he's gonna do like hentai stuff. You know, I want to see some porn.
I want to see Orc Massage 2.
Yeah, that sounds great. I've never heard of it, but I'm gonna Google it right away.
I think it will probably
the bundle. You don't worry, Brian. I will literally buy you the bundle.
All right.
Just like 30 other games. It's fantastic.
Do I have to play 1 to know what's going on in 2, or can I just skip right to 2?
Not at all.
On the topic of burnout, I do want to bring up something that I've talked to my community a lot about, and that is that I think announcing Marathon when they did was a big mistake.
You mentioned this before, and I really agree with you there.
Yeah. And in terms of burnout with the community, right? Because as far as I can tell, this game is far away, like real far.
Yeah.
And the Destiny community, especially the PvP side, was on that knife's edge. Maybe it was copium, right? Of like Bungie's working for the PvP players. It's just, they're coming around, refocused on PvP. It's going to happen. And they were on this knife's edge and really mad, but still having hope. And the announcement of Marathon and seeing like Lars on Marathon and all these people who you've associated with the Crucible, it kind of made a lot of people go, oh, so I have been abandoned. I am being ignored. It is all over. It's not going to get better. And whether those takes are correct or not, that is how a lot of people feel. They're like, okay, so they're putting all of their focus into PvP and Marathon, not in Destiny. So I think that did make a lot of people tip, where it was like, that was the thing that kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And they were like, I've seen so much anger from following that. And not even just anger, a lot of people just being like, am I wrong to feel kind of upset and abandoned that a lot of these things that we've wanted for years, they're going into Marathon and not into this PvP experience that I really like. I don't even like extraction shooters, and they're focusing on this genre that I don't even really want to play. So I think, and they went hard on the announcement too. It wasn't just a trailer of like Marathon's a thing. They had the dev interviews, and then they had like all the ARG stuff. Like they were hyping it up, and the merch. I think I don't know if it was a good idea to announce it right now. People have gone from anger to apathy, and that's when things are scary.
I think to your point, it's also like I think it was the tail. It forced the PvP community in Destiny into the tail end of the whole grief cycle, where we have gone through
Yeah.
anger and
Yeah.
even bargaining,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now the acceptance is setting in, where we're like, listen, let's be realistic here. Destiny was a 10-year plan, and we are on the home stretch. Like,
Yeah.
what we have right now is probably almost identical to what we're gonna finish with at the finish line for this Destiny Light versus Dark saga. So it's either get comfortable with what you've got and set your expectations real low for what might change between now and the end, or just throw up your hands and say, well, I guess I'll just move on. And a lot of PvPers that I know have gotten to that point where the acceptance set in, and now they're focused on other things.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it was the final bit of hope gone with their marathon, and I think I was talking about this morning. It doesn't matter really which way marathon goes. Like I don't feel like Destiny won't benefit it from either way. So like for example, if you get like an Epic Games situation where I don't know if you remember, Epic Games was working on Paragon. That was meant to be their cash cow. That was their new MOBA. That was meant to be like their rival to League of Legends. Fortnite came out completely different. No crossover really between a PvE builder, horde survivor, and a MOBA. Fortnite just took off, absolutely massive, and Paragon shut down. It was like, okay, we're gonna put our resource in this. So like, if Marathon is incredibly successful, I mean, Destiny PvP is not going to get better from that. And if Marathon flops, I feel like they'll put more resources in it, just like they did with Destiny to bring it back up and float it. So it's like, I feel like maybe that was a realization for Destiny players that like, this is not really going to get better. There's
I think it was, yeah.
Marathon's not going to make Destiny better ever.
Nope.
So
There's
yeah.
a lot of sadness, which has been kind of sad. People
been
like,
sadness, yeah.
am I wrong to feel kind of sad about this announcement? And I'm like,
no, I think it's very valid. I think a lot of people just feel sad. I mean, they're just like, yeah, can't really see Destiny PvP recovering.
What really sucks is the general apathy. Like I started to get bouts of apathy just before Witch Queen. And Witch Queen kind of delayed that feeling for a hot minute, because Witch Queen, they knocked it out of the park. Like Witch Queen was very, very cool. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. But as the year went on, I kind of came to that realization that this is the Destiny that we will have until the saga is over. And I recognize that I am not its target audience anymore, because I do not enjoy it in the way that I used to. And I need to change my framework in the way that I operate with the game, and if I'm going to continue enjoying this world, right? So I did. And what sucked was that eventually that apathy started growing to the point where like new drama came out and I was like, nah.
Right.
Whatever. And like when the community hits that point, that's some scary shit.
Yeah, that's the scary stuff for sure.
I don't know, that's when games die. Like apathy is extremely dangerous for any game.
I don't know if this is how truthful this is, but I think I saw something about the player population and it was similar or mimicked what happened the first time around with Destiny 2 when they were like, okay, we're kind of getting into trouble here. They had like the summit and they had to do a lot of things to rebuild trust in the community, and the Forsaken came about. I don't know how true that is. I saw some sort of comparison that like it's sort of getting to that level again of apathy, and maybe it doesn't matter because they've had that big investment of Sony, and so
they're not as worried. They're not need motivated. Yeah, I feel you on that. And it's interesting, I think a lot of people look at player count. You look at Steam charts and stuff like that to see how many players have logged in. But I think by nature, Destiny has undergone a gigantic metamorphosis since those early D2 years, where since then, Bungie has focused on how do we get people to log in on Tuesday and just hit that one thing before they disengage. And whether it's intentional or not, that definitely inflates numbers where they can say, "Hey, look at
Yeah.
250,000 people logged in today," and it's like, well, how engaged were they? That's what I want to know. Did they stick around? Are they engaging long term with the story and with the content? What content are they playing? Are they enjoying it? You know what I mean? And those are the kinds of metrics that I'm most interested in right now, because even with PvP, there's a lot of ways that they try to get people to at least engage with it short term, and that inflates those numbers. But I want to know how much people are like, "Hey, I really like this. I'm sticking around. I'm playing for a couple of hours in my play session." You know what I mean? That's what
Man.
I want to know.
I think if you're a newer player to Destiny, you're eating real good. There's so much
Oh,
to
yeah.
do. You've got all the dungeons, all the raids eventually, like everything's
Well, if
new
you're
to
paying
you.
for it, yeah.
Yeah, the world's beautiful. Like Destiny's a beautiful game. It feels great. So I think they're living great. And I think there's obviously a lot of people who absolutely love Destiny, but I think you're probably going to start seeing the people who have been playing for a very, very long time start to get more tired, because the formula has been the same for a long time.
Mhm.
But not only that, but we know that the Light and Dark saga is coming to an end. We don't even know what's after Final Shape. We don't know if there's going to be, the regular season stuff, or they're going to completely switch it up. So I think that's also not helping with people being like, I just want to get to the end and see the end and like leave. I just want to get out of here. I think people are
Yeah.
also feeling that too.
And the thing is, they, like someone said in chat, they sold so many copies of Lightfall. Wasn't it like their best sales? So it's like they're
Yeah.
kind of chilling.
Their marketing
They
for
sold their-
Lightfall was very good. I'm
It
not
was
gonna lie.
very
Yeah.
good.
Like I looked at the marketing for Lightfall and was like, I'm in 120%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want that. I want that auto rifle today, not 5 months from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to clarify that I'm not speaking from the framework that the community has hit apathy. I just want to say, I was trying to say that like apathy in a community is extremely dangerous for a live service game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we are seeing a lot more people being vocal about approaching or hitting said apathy.
Right.
Not that
The
the
anger is
entirety of
actually
it is
good.
apathy. Yeah, anger is a good thing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
if you have an emotional response to these things, that is a great thing, because it means that it shows that you still care. I don't know. Apathy is just it. Like I said, it's dangerous. It's just dangerous.
So that wasn't the only drama in the community this week.
Which one we want to hit this
I
time?
don't know. Well, you choose. Dealer's choice, Watts. What do you want to go with? A little of this, a
Spill
little of that.
tea.
Look,
Spill the
let's
tea.
do another big conversation. Microtransaction hell, the video from
Oh, yeah.
Aspirational that got like 2 billion trillion views in like 2 seconds.
Boy,
Yeah.
Really?
Dad.
Did you guys watch the video?
that's a lot of
It's
money.
close to 1 million. Yeah, it's close to 1 million.
I
views on
watched
that.
Data watch.
I've
the
seen
video.
Okay.
bits and pieces of it. I've seen bits and pieces.
I watched
of
the
it.
video. I thought it was a pretty good video. It was. I thought it was pretty well produced. He does use a lot of data footage. I think there was some confusion. I think people viewing the video mistook it as he was saying that like data was somehow responsible for this. That's not. I don't think that was the point of him using that data footage. It was just to see.
No.
It was to show what had changed since Dado had made that video several years ago, and like how microtransactions had moved along. Right. It's like he was literally showing the slippery slope argument. Like he was. You could
I would
see
have
it
told
happening.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says that. I mean, if you watch the
Yeah.
video long enough, I think a few minutes in, he says, "Yeah, data was spot on." Yeah, he unpacks that a bit too. So.
Right. And he has a bunch of different. He just shows a lot of like how microtransactions have progressed in Destiny. I will say he kind of misses, I think, a big deal though, in that Destiny 2 had loot boxes in it, and that was extremely predatory, and they got rid of it. They got rid of it because basically everybody had to get rid of loot boxes, but they did get rid of it,
Yeah.
and I do think they deserve some credit for getting rid of those, because those were fucking real shitty. So I was glad they did get rid of that, but there are a ton more microtransactions in the game. There's literally like splash pages on multiple menus in the game, like kind of like not forcing you, but like kind of like gently guiding you toward like buying different passes for different activities. And he does go on to say, in fact, you could consider this a pay-to-win situation which he kind of lost me at that point. I was like, this is a tenuous, pretty tenuous relationship that you got going on with this, but I do see the point of where you're headed. It was a good video, and it was convincing to me.
It was a good video. The only thing that is absolutely incorrect, which I'm actually really surprised he even thought of, was that Bungie hasn't grown since the Taken King, employee-wise. I'm like, I don't really know where you'd get that
He didn't say
information
Bungie.
from.
He said the Destiny team.
Well, no, the Destiny team has grown.
Okay.
The Taken, I mean, when was the Taken King? We didn't even have Void before the Taken King. That was so long ago. No, the Destiny team has absolutely grown considerably since then. They had a massive
Spoken like a
hiring.
hunter main. We didn't have Void.
we didn't. I remember going to E3 for the Taken King, finally getting to use the Void subclass. That was amazing. So that was the only thing where I was like, that's a bit weird. So, but because we can look at the site, right? We can see what people are hiring for. They've been on a hiring spree for Destiny. But yeah, that was the only thing. Everything else I think was argued very well. Some things I didn't agree with. Some things I'm like, that's totally fair. And my opinion of the whole microtransaction thing was, companies in general obviously want to make money. And if I can sell you a $500 skin and you buy a $500 skin, there is no reason for me to drop it to $400. There's definitely no reason for me to get rid of it. So if I am offering all these microtransactions and you're paying for them, why would I, as a company, not do that? Right? There's no incentive for a company to not get to like
because the fact that you're offering a $500 incentive for a video game that the main attraction is to get loot in creates apathy for me.
Well, yeah, obviously, but ultimately it's a business, right? And if there are still this amount of people paying $10 for that ghost or whatever, they're gonna keep charging $10 for ghosts.
I agree. They're a company. They need to make money.
You gotta vote with your wallet, man. I said this was a funny thing that maybe I can't say on a podcast, but I said it on streams. I'm just gonna say it. But if you went to your favorite bakery and all of a sudden they're putting heroin in the bread, you probably don't want to keep giving that bakery money because you don't agree with them putting heroin in the bread.
You don't know how I like my bread.
So if a company is doing all...
Briar's like, where's this bakery?
Why are you judging
Did they deliver?
Briar, huh?
Did they deliver?
If a company is doing all these things that you hate, you think Bungie's awful, predatory, disgusting, terrible, why are you giving them your money?
Well,
because ultimately, that is the best way for you to vote, is with your money. Because we said with Curse of Osiris, right? Like, people are starting to not buy as many microtransactions. People aren't buying into the next DLC.
We don't know that.
You gotta vote with your wallet.
That information isn't public to us. We have anecdotal evidence from like Twitch chats and Twitter and Reddit, but we don't really know what those numbers are, how much money they make. I mean, obviously it's enough for them to make more content.
It's a lot.
More content for the Eververse store than they make for any other part of the game. So it must be a ton.
Yeah, I think one.
God, I would love to see those stats. I would love to see how much money comes through.
Yeah.
One thing
It'd
I've
be
heard
so
a lot of
interesting.
people say is that they feel upset because they just assumed that all the money that the community is throwing at Destiny by buying Destiny cosmetics and Destiny Eververse items, they just assumed that that money was going to be reinvested into Destiny to help Destiny grow and develop further. And maybe there's a little bit of precedent there. We did have, though, the one, was it the Whisper of the Worm ornament that funded the mission, the 0 hour mission. And they told us that, you know what I mean? So maybe that set a little bit of precedent for the community, but then I don't know. I think it is maybe a little nearsighted, a little ignorant to assume that all the money that you give Bungie goes directly into funding more Destiny development, because they are a company that's got a lot of projects, and how they allocate their funds is entirely up to them, really. And if And if they didn't specifically tell you that you buying this ornament was going to go to funding a new Crucible map development, you know what I mean? Then it might be a little naive to assume that it should be devoted to Destiny. So I don't know. I think I give them a little bit of grace on that. They can use their money how they want to and allocate it as they see fit because they're a big company with big goals and big aspirations. But
there's an interesting comment in chat about how every aspect funnels you to the store, and interesting observation. When I've been playing Diablo, there's been nothing to actually put. I maybe haven't got that far in the game yet, but there's nothing that actually makes me go to the store. Whereas in Destiny, you get bright engrams, and to clear them out, so you can clear your postmaster and you can clear everything, you got to go to the store. And you go, I'm in the store now. Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how effective that was until I started playing Diablo. And I literally skipped past the store tab every single time to exit the menu. And I was like, man, I didn't realize how often I look at Bungie's store because I literally got to go there to clear my bright engrams.
Give it time with Diablo, though, because the current trend in the industry is to launch with all that stuff like way in the background, so the reviews don't reflect what a microtransaction hell the game is gonna be in 6 months, but it's gonna be.
True.
So I have something to add to that, and this is I'm going to use Diablo as the reference. So I am of the opinion that Destiny is not a looter shooter in the sense of like what you would do with like Borderlands, right? Where like your goal is to get the perfect roll B shield, you know? It's a fashion game. You play the game to look cool, right? That's the way that I've always approached it. Maybe and that might not be a popular opinion. I know that there's a lot of people that are very hungry for those God rolls, the God roll Wendigos and all that crap. But I think a lot of the motivation for stuff like, even with like World of Warcraft, is looking cool as shit. Like one of the reasons that I got into that whole like the WoW loop was I was in org, right? I was doing my laps, and then I saw a dude who looked real freaking cool. And I was like, I want to look like that. And so I Google out.
Aren't the cosmetics
I look at the armor. The cosmetics for
looking cool.
For what? Sorry.
For looking cool.
Oh yeah, no. Like that's actually one of the reasons why I don't like the Destiny store, is that the main thing for me is looking cool. And like I want the armor to reflect the difficulty of the thing that I'm doing. So like I've always been an advocate for stuff like, you know, we've talked about this many times over, just privately amongst one another, but like contest mode being a permanent thing, right? If that was a thing, I would want to see armor that is only obtainable by completing that flawless, that looks wicked fucking sick, right? Because that's going to get people incentivized to get the tools necessary to do the thing to get the cool thing. And then when they look cool, someone else is going to walk by in the tower and be like, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
And then it starts that whole feedback again.
I'm getting triggered because I said this exact same thing on my stream, and everyone's like, nah, you're wrong. And now it's like, everyone's like, yeah, Red's right.
No,
Red's
you're
right,
totally
Red's
right. We've talked about this so many times where it's like, I remember in D1 when you'd have a cool ship and someone on stream would say, that's a cool ship, where'd you get it? And I'd say the raid. Whereas now, 9 times out of 10, my answer is going to be the Eververse star.
Yeah. How many times have we been looking in a TWAB and they showed new armor and we're like, damn, that's awesome looking. How do you get it? Oh, you get it from the Eververse store. I'm like,
That being said, this season has had really good armor in the dungeon and really good armor in the season pass.
Yeah, they're bangers.
They are bangers. Let's just play devil's advocate. There are some good looking gear this season that you have to earn in the game, either by getting levels or by doing the dungeon.
Right.
Yeah. And that's not new feedback either, because I mean, I remember the first summit right before Forsaken, and that's one of the main points that I will give credit to MTashed for, because we're sitting there in a room full of people, and this isn't NDA where we were allowed to talk about the feedback that we gave.
We don't talk about MTash on this show.
Let's talk about MTash on this show. But that's one of the things he said. He's like, listen, I want to look really cool for doing the hardest stuff in the game. And he's like, and that won't break the game if like the gear is not necessarily like giving you an advantage over another player. But I want to be able to know just by looking at somebody that they did the hardest mode of the hardest raid in the game. So that's not new feedback. I think players have felt that way for a while.
Mm-hmm. And like, it might be an elitist thing to say. This might be elitist Rin coming out of the woodwork.
Let's hear.
I don't think that the top tier loot should be in everybody's hands.
No. Yeah.
I don't.
That
Because
wouldn't be top tier.
Exactly. So like, the thing that I like to bring up is, if you guys remember when like Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten first dropped, and Recluse and Mountaintop Revoker, all those things, right? It required some level of investment and some improvement of personal skill in order to attain those things for most people, right?
Yeah.
2200 I think was the MMR required in order for you to get that shit, and like, it wasn't super difficult, but it was a climb, right?
Definitely.
There are so many, myself included, there were so many people that never touched PvP, but the moment that I saw Not Forgotten, I went, I want that. I want that, right?
Yeah.
And when I finally got it, and I was like, Lamau, I'm never using this shit again in PvP, because like, I wanted it because Magnificent Howl was actually really good for PvE too. Like, it was a really strong perk. And so like, that was literally super glued to my hands for almost like 2 years or however long I had it. But it's that aspirational thing of, you want this thing to chase, but you're going to need to put the investment in order to get it. And I think that is sorely missing from the game. I don't think pinnacles should have gone away. And I think that most of the pinnacles now, as they are, that you can buy from the kiosk, if they were to be reintroduced back into the game, would not break the game, bar Mountaintop and Revoker. I think every other gun could be reinstated as it is, and it would be totally fine. Because there are other powerful options that are that beat them out.
We've
in
power
certain
crept a
circumstance.
lot since then, yeah.
We have. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like,
We have,
and I
indeed.
think we're sort of seeing that with like Desperado being reintroduced, and what was the other one that was brought back? There was another pinnacle perk that
There's a
they-
loaded question. The one that was on the loaded question has been put on everything.
yeah, Reservoir Burst.
Reservoir
Burst,
Burst, yeah.
And like, the thing that really always gets me, and this is a bit of a salty point for myself, do you guys remember that mod that we got, Energy Accelerant, that made Dragonfly like absolutely goated with the frickin' sauce?
Oh yeah.
How good would that have been on Oxygen SR3?
Yeah, the oxygen.
Yeah.
And
That's a
it
throwback.
never even had a chance to shine, right? Like, it would have taken this absolutely bottom tier scout rifle and made it like kind of okay. Like, I don't know. I find the chase of the prestige just as like that. The chase itself is the exciting thing. Crossing the finish line is cool and all, but like, putting in the work to become better to get the thing.
I think
is
walking
the
around
enjoyment.
in the tower with my fresh new loot is the exciting thing. Showing it
that
off.
too. That too. I remember when I got the Helm of the Emperor in WoW, and I put that bad bitch on, and I was like, I'm the King of Thunder now.
We do have some cool stuff to talk about. Do we want to do any more drama, or do we want to talk about some cool stuff?
We're doing the last little bit of drama because it's
Okay,
actually pretty
okay.
short.
All right.
So this week, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon, there was a new cutscene that happened that kind of changed everything we thought we knew about Destiny.
Everything we knew, we don't know
it's all a lie.
anymore.
It's all a lie. But during that cutscene, there was an artist on Twitter called Element J21 who tweeted out, I just realized Bungie took inspiration from my piece for this week's cutscene. Certainly took me by surprise when I watched the cutscene.
Does inspiration mean using a tracing paper?
It's real close. That's for sure. The thing that made me go,
Yeah.
oh wow, is the background actually.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the composition
Element
is
for element.
definitely like similar, right? But looking at the background and being like, they've got the same vaults at the background, I was like, oh, okay. But so this happened, and it's the whole, artist should be credited, and then it was really interesting because you had one team that was like, artists should be credited and paid if their work is being used in an in-game cutscene, and then the other who was like, in TOS, if you upload it, Bungie can use it however. So first of all, I want to say that the TOS for you submitting Bungie art, I'm sure does cover them legally. if they do use it in like a trailer or a cutscene, but it's so
They're
they
well
can
within
use
their
it in
rights
the
to use it, yeah.
TWAB. It's so they can use it in the TWAB and Twitter. Like that's where they intend to use it if you win
Right.
Artist of the Week or something like that. When it comes
Mhm.
to your stuff being used in something that Bungie is making money off of, that's like a different conversation. So there were people who would go and be mad, being like, it's the TOS. And there were people who were like, just put them in the credits or ask them before you do it. But all of this has been kind of resolved at this point. This is why I say it's short, because earlier today, the Destiny 2 team on Twitter said, we've discovered that an external vendor that helped to create this cutscene mistakenly used this art as a reference, assuming it was official Bungie art. We've reached out to the artist to apologize for the mix-up and to credit and compensate them for their awesome work. Which is really the best solution for this kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? Like we're
Yeah, no
asking
doubt.
you if like maybe you get put in the credits, and compensate. I assume they mean pay. So all of this is
With clout. With exposure.
That's right. Yeah.
Exposure bucks.
Yeah.
Hey,
The-
you're in
the
the video
whole-
game. Look at you, famous artist.
So kind of like backstory here, because my first reaction was it's shitty, but like they can technically do it, and I don't think many people see the other side of like the corporate face of Bungie, and I had that unfortunate experience when Gamma Trap and I got a slap on the wrist for selling Destiny artwork, and I got in actually ended up getting a phone call with one of the lawyers and talking about it because I thought some of it was really too far. Like some of the artwork that Gamma Trap did was like could be a Space Marine, wasn't like Destiny specific. It wasn't Destiny art, like, and you know we were getting slapped with like takedown notices to get rid of them, and it's one of the reasons we don't do artwork anymore. And they were pretty much like, too bad, so sad. Like, and I was like, bro, this is not even Destiny. I could call it Space Marine, it'll be fine. Like, we don't care if the almost exact phrase was something like, even if it's inspired by our work, we would win. And I was like,
Whoa.
okay. And
Alright.
that's why Gamma Trap and I don't make artwork anymore, because there's no way for us to get money back on it. And he spends hours making artwork, and it's like, see ya, like it gets picked up by their third parties that do copyright infringement.
Yeah.
And you just can't sell the pieces unless you have direct approval from Bungie at things like Guardian Con or conventions, and they let it slide if it's like in person. So I've been well aware that they are in their rights to use that, and we are using their IP. And they can be very funny when it comes to artwork. They're not so funny when it comes to YouTube and Twitch because it sells more copies. But when it comes to selling artwork and protecting their brand and protecting Destiny, I imagine it's even more so now that they're owned by Sony, that they're sort of, and that was one of the big things they kept saying is like brand protection. Like, we don't want you selling artwork of Destiny. We want to protect Destiny's brand, and that's part of the deal here. So
Yeah.
stop doing it. At the same time, Bungie also works with artists probably more than any other game company. So
Yeah.
there's like, there is two sides to that coin. Like they are, but there is also a line that you can't step over as well. And I do really feel sorry for artists, because I think that they are more talented than nearly every streamer. And we make a living off it, and they're like scraping pennies together doing the really cool artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the bit that I found really odd about this story is this is like one of the biggest cutscenes. Why are they using external contractors?
I think it's
So
pretty
we were
common
talking about
practice,
It's
isn't it, to
extremely
outsource
common.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
So
outsource stuff like
every
that, yeah.
single AAA studio will outsource things, especially cutscenes, animations, all that kind of stuff. If you look at
Really?
any credits for a AAA game, you'll see like animation by this studio, this by this studio. Like most of
Yeah.
pretty sure every single AAA uses.
And I think a
outsourcing
lot of
system.
that has to do with the fact that, like, listen, these cutscenes don't happen very often, do they? So you're gonna hire someone to be on staff full time with benefits and pay to work on, you know, a handful of cutscenes a year? Probably not. It's much easier to have a studio that specializes in that does work for multiple different game developers, and you have a good working relationship with them, and you outsource stuff like this when you need it. So
It's
I think
also
that's why it's much more commonplace.
It's an extremely cutthroat business too. Like they get paid very little for what they do on those cutscenes, and those companies go in and out of business constantly. So it's kind of a nasty business.
In the nicest possible way. Like the cutscenes are cool, but they're not technically difficult. Like Gamma Trap and artists can I've replicated cutscenes with Gamma Trap in a couple of weeks. You know, they're not like in-game cutscenes and that kind of thing. They're right. Like they're artwork that's been animated.
Yeah. Oh. But outsourcing super common.
Speaking of cutscenes, got a pretty big one this week. Some major lore implications. Everything we knew is a lie. The witness is not a person or an entity. It's many. What the fuck is going on, Mylon?
Don't ask me, mate. I made a video and then had to make a second video saying, actually, okay. So we got the witness's backstory. He showed a civilization with the traveler looked like it was buried in the earth, and they had their own golden age, including making a pyramid ship. And for whatever reason, they felt like there wasn't enough purpose. They acted a bit like the trust fund baby. They were like, okay, I've got all the money, I've got everything, all our basic needs are sorted for, like, what's the purpose in life? And they discovered that the Veil existed, a counterpart to the Traveler, and believed that the Traveler could be just as destructive as it was helpful. And this is the logic jump that I still can't get my head around. Decided that ending the universe was the way to get purpose. I think
it's that they wanted to. I think the way I understood it was that we are who we are because the Traveler, right? It gave us everything. It's sort of like the Aladdin situation, right? Where Aladdin's talking to Jafar and he says, everything you are is because the genie made you. Like, if you want ultimate power, you need to control the genie. You need to be more powerful than the genie. And so that's what he makes us wish for. And I think that's kind of what we get with this civilization is like they find a way to subdue the Traveler, to keep the Traveler in check, get control over it, make it do what they want, so that there's no danger that the Traveler could just wipe them out if it decides to. Because it's not speaking to them. It's not giving them any confirmation that, yes, you're my chosen people. Yes, I'm here forever. And so they wanted that security of knowing they can control it and the rest of the universe. Then that's their purpose. That's their higher calling. That was my understanding.
They tried to
that was great.
Yeah, they tried to combine the Veil and the Traveler, which it flashes the image of what we have now, right? Which is a portal. And it kind of gives a bit more information. Like, if that occurred, they could control and rewrite reality kind of deal. And that was their way of doing that. And then the Traveler ran away, and then the witness wasn't born yet. This whole civilization was born into the witness. I think it's through understanding the truth of the darkness. Merge. That's why the volcano head has all these faces in it.
And when he talks or it talks, you hear the multiple voices of overlaid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other important thing is they mentioned the Gardener and the Winnower, which is a reference to a law book called the Unveiling law book, which is essentially like a creation story of the universe, and it's a story about the light and the darkness, which what we thought was the light and the darkness, called the Gardener and the Winnower, and it was just sort of like a creation story. Now it's kind of seeming like it's a metaphor, it's an analogy for an allegory for the origin story of the witness, which has a lot of people upset. There are a couple of different ways to interpret it, and I think, you know, I always get comments. I say one thing, no, you're wrong. I say the opposite, no, you're wrong again. They had it right the first time. So it's like I don't quite know who the winnower is meant to be. I think it's probably the witness is meant to be the winner. When I first watched the cutscene, they literally put the Gardener and then they mentioned the Veil. So I was like, oh, and they're like counterparts. And in the Unveiled law book, the Gardener and the Winnower are counterparts. So I was like, well, the Veil is the winnower. The Gardener is a Traveler. That's light, that's dark. That's where this story comes from. And then I thought, well, the civilization, the witness, when they discovered the veil, they also got an insight to the whole sort of history of the universe. And then they went and wrote this book, right? They're like, okay, well, that's like they understood the universe. They went back and wrote their creation story because they discovered the veil and they saw the consciousness of the universe. And that's how you explain it. The alternative explanation is that they just made that story up as part of their, I don't know.
So is the veil
reason,
like a conscious entity? It seemed to be like it was just like a relic or a tool.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen it being a conscious relic yet. Not like the Traveler. Well, not like we assume the Traveler is.
Yeah.
Which is like a jump in logic you'd have to make for the Unveiling book to work for it to be talking to you.
Okay. It seemed to me like the winnower was the witness, and the witness wants to use that power to use the power of the gardener to, shape the universe into what it likes.
Final shape, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to use the... God.
I kind of interpreted it as like the universe is inherently like it very much subscribes to the idea that the universe is chaos, right? There is no purpose, nothing means anything, nothing matters. It's just there, right? And I thought of it in the lens of a lot of people don't really like that line of thinking because it's to a lot of people it means that like, well, if the universe is chaos, then what's the point of being alive, right? Like what's the point of existing? And personally, we don't have to go into the whole philosophy of it. I thought that this was a direct reference to that question, and the people that became the witness were basically trying to find that answer, and they found it in control the thing that can control reality, and we can create a universe where we have purpose.
Yeah, well said.
Because as it stands now, we don't have one. Because the universe was born from chaos, and this thing can rewrite this universe in a way that it's not.
Yeah, this is the hard bit though, is like they keep hinting at the final shape being nothing, being like the end of the universe. And that's the bit that I have trouble with. It's like, I understand to like make purpose, but then that purpose ends up being just like everything's dead. It's like Thanos logic. So it's like, how do we get back to Thanos logic to create purpose?
I don't know. Maybe like there is a logic into like the idea that in order for something to be reborn, something else has to end. So like the universe would end as we know it, right? The Destiny universe would be destroyed as we know it, but something else would be reborn from that nothing, So yeah, it would die, but also something else would persist. It's the same thing that Outer Wilds actually poses when you start talking about like the meaning of existence, which everybody should play Outer Wilds. If you haven't, play it. It is the best game ever. Yeah.
All right, so Twitch chat's flaming me. I get lost, Grim. Why is everyone explaining it better than mine? Because there's no answers. There is no answers. It's all up to timey-wimey interpretations. It's whatever you want to take away from it, okay?
It's all a riddle. That's why I stopped paying attention. Because when I ask, people just go, herby-derby, riddle-be-tiddle, pull-ba-tiddle.
You know what? This is actually my least favorite type of... this is my least favorite type of writing because... everyone's like, nah, you're wrong. I'm like, yeah, well, you can interpret it whatever way. Like, there's no right answer right now. There's no answer.
I really liked it. I thought it was really fun. Like it expanded on the witness. Like, gave some backstory there. Gave a little backstory on the veil. I mean, people are saying we know what the veil is. I still don't get the fuck what the veil is. It's some kind of mysterious.
Like, we know what the veil is. We know what the final shape is. I'm like, yeah.
You haven't proved it.
The best description of the veil was literally from the artwork, concept artwork that the guy posted on Twitter. And he basically put the brief of what he had to like design, which was like the consciousness of the universe in an object. Oh, is that what the veil is? Okay.
That clears it up.
And it's an eggplant. But you just cut the top off.
It's true.
I don't know. I definitely liked the. It felt like there was more context to Beyond Light from this cutscene. Like,
Mm.
I felt so like blind just running around in Beyond Light, and this if this had been added back then, I think it would have been more satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you mean Lightfall.
Lightfall, my bad. Lightfall.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people felt like that. Like if this was like the kind of end cutscene in Lightfall, we'd be like, "Oh, big!" And then you spend, the other seasons kind of going into more detail about what they just dropped on as a bomb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel that, but I'm trying not to labor on like my disappointment in Lightfall. I think it's a combination now as we like keep moving forward, and I think a lot of people feel like stuff is being retconned around the Unveiling lore book because it feels like it's inconsistent, and I definitely see that because my like gut reaction is like Lightfall was being like a soft reset of the lore where Bungie's been able to say, oh, it's all a lie, it's all perspective, it's all bias. And that's all the comments that I'm getting. Like, oh no, that was a lie, that was someone else. The witness just made that. It's an allegory. It's this, that, and the other. And part of me feels like, yeah, but there is a line where it's done really well and where it's like kind of a crutch to like just write whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it happens too often, you start getting to the point where it's like, okay, well, what's the point of me reading the last 8 years of like lore? Like there is no point then if you keep using that same like, oh no, it's just like the wrong perspective. And like I get that. I've had those conversations personally with Bungie when I did the Grimoire anthology, and I was like, is this right? Like it's okay. It doesn't have to be right. It's like it's perspective. And I was like, oh yeah, good point. But I feel like within context of Lightfall, it kind of feels like they're crutching on the idea that things can be wrong in the lore and we can write whatever we want.
Kind of needs to be a definitive
feels like
answer,
some of it's been
right?
thrown away.
Yeah.
As we're reaching the conclusion, we need to have some definitive answers, not just people's perspectives.
We're like right there, yeah.
Yeah, we're right.
Yeah, true.
Should we do some
It almost feels
Twitter
like...
questions?
Well, I think Rin wanted to make a comment real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it just almost feels like we're approaching the finish line, and every time we're like, oh, finally an answer, it just gets moved.
Yeah,
like,
it's true though. It's true.
No, I was right there.
Because we were going into that with Lightfall, like, here's the answer, and then they're like, the veil, and then we're like, okay, now we have to figure out what the veil is, and then they're like, oh, the witness is a bunch of cats in a cat suit.
Go talk to a fish.
What?
I mean, this is the thing with the whole, oh, it's perspective, it's bias. Okay, well, let me apply the same logic. Asa told us that so we're like, it's secondhand knowledge. So like, why am I even talking about the cutscene? I should just say, hey, new cutscene, but it's told by Asa, so who cares? Like, don't believe it. This
She's
could
aware.
all be,
What is she now?
This could be Asa, could be Savathun. This could be absolute bait. There you go. There's a new video. So like, at some point, you've got to take what Bungie gives you and like give it some truth to say like this is what's happening.
I do like the conversation that comes about from these types of things though. Like I like that there are different perspectives on it. Like I say what you will about the movie, I think Inception is kind of a dog water movie, but the final scene being left up in the air propelled so much conversation that everybody wanted to see what the fuck was going on with that movie. Right? And I think that that's cool. But I also think that you're right. Like, you can't just be like, it's a new perspective. Oh, who's got the different idea now? Because then it cheapens these moments where, like, there is a meaningful, like, question mark moment, you know? Yeah.
I think Witch Queen did it really well. Witch Queen took the Books of Sorrow, didn't change what happened in the Books of Sorrow, but definitely put a twist on it. And I think that's a really good way of like adding perspective and bias into the stories. What I don't like, the other end of that scale, I think is like, oh no, that like whole book is like not truthful, which is sort of like where you're getting to with Unveiling, because Unveiling is before time existed, before anyone existed. So if it ends up being written by the witness, then that's all just a story about the witness's origin story. And you don't take any, and like the Vex were born in that book. That means the whole Vex origin story is thrown in the bin. There's got to be there has to be another origin story for the Vex. The Black Garden, which you see in Garden of Salvation, which is apparently, the dark wrestled, and they broke the Tree of Silver Wings. Like that's also, even though we see it, there's obviously another story behind it. I think that's a bit where I think it goes a bit too far. If that's the case, it might not be the case.
And the witness do be lying a lot.
Well, can this be a lie though? If it's isn't egregore like storing memory, right? So it's not like he can like speak into the egregore to change, or can you at least trust that since it's based on, experience, not spoken, lies. I don't know. Does that make it more valid of a source of information?
It does actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it does.
I just think that the witness is the ultimate girl boss. That's all I think. Just gaslighting, gatekeeping, and just doing his thing.
All right, I'm going to jump into Twitter questions.
All right.
Shunzi says, question, why can't we play Destiny in different languages? This is a normal option in other games. Like, I think Seventh's voice sounds good in Japanese and Korean. I would like to hear the other languages' voice actors and actresses. You can't you do this? You can definitely do this.
There's like a workaround thing you can do. It's not just a selectable thing in the menu. Which it would be really nice if it was a selectable thing in the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Freebaser says, the more I think about this week's cutscene, the stupider it gets. Our awesomeness under the Traveler was getting out of hand, so we needed to trim it. So let's drag the veil around the universe and try to stick it in the ball until they lost it around the collapse sometime. Well, when you put it like that.
They're trying to get it preferent. They're trying to Progananant the Traveler.
Progananant?
They're trying to. That's what they're doing. They're jamming the veil into the Traveler and making a portal. That's how sex works, right?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I struggled with that cutscene so much. I really struggled with the cutscene.
Which one? The one where they
Really?
shoot the triangle portal at the.
This week's cutscene, I really
week's,
struggled
okay.
to get my mind around. There's too many if, buts, and ands.
Basil says
Buts
you're
are pretty
playing
cool, though.
beer pong against Rolk and Nezzy. Who from Destiny Universe is your partner? Also, the beer is actually Vex milk, and loser will drink it and assimilate into Vex Network. If I'm playing beer pong against Rolk and Nezzy, I'm picking Dado, because he beat me in the beer pong tournament in Seattle like 3 years ago, before COVID.
Really?
Yeah. We were in the
I don't
finals
know.
against
I
Dado.
would
And
have
not
my
only did
money
he
on
beat
you
me,
winning
but he
beer
beat me
pong. That's surprising.
convincingly.
Yeah.
He was very good.
It's just
My
math.
pick
It's just
is
math.
Clyde. GSXR Clyde. That man
Okay.
can
You toss a pong ball?
Yeah. Yeah. With mathematic precision.
I would simply drink the milk and not play the game.
Okay.
Bred's like, fuck
Make
this,
me a
the network,
robot.
baby.
I'm going in. I'm just gonna pull a Tron, dude.
Gotta go find Ash a beer. See you
Yeah,
later.
I'll give him a sick high five and then give you guys a new exotic or something. I don't know.
Okay, I'm in. Mr. Macalito says, Ren, what's your favorite drink, snake, and cookie? Also, have you played Potato? If not, the crew can tell you all about this gem of game. We have not played Potato. I'm sorry to admit.
I have not, but I want to play Potato.
Okay.
Favorite drink? Coke, no sugar, vanilla. The vanilla Coke, no sugar.
Okay.
Snake, the one
Why
that
no
I
sugar?
have. He's a no, because I don't want diabetes.
Fair.
Yeah, okay, but
That's-
would you
that's
say you
literally the
prefer the
only
taste
reason.
of the sugar one?
No, not really. Not really.
I don't prefer the
I'm
taste
just-
of sugar Coke over Coke Zero either.
The vanilla just makes it like the bee's underboob anyway, so it's like whatever.
Is that
I
a
do
good
like
thing?
vanilla.
The
I have
bees
a-
under boob?
Well, it's better than the knees.
Okay.
Okay, what type of boob is the best boob?
I was just wondering if it was a
No,
good thing or a bad thing.
underboob's pretty good.
Right?
Underboob's
It's not
pretty
fun.
good. Yeah. pretty
See,
good.
so the bee's knees not where it's at. The bee's underboob though.
Pretty good.
talking.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
true. Yep.
I have a snake. We've had a breadlie carpet python. His name is Bastion. He's an idiot, but that's my favorite snake. What was the third thing?
I'm sorry. I'm looking. Cookie.
Drink, snake, and cookie.
Oatmeal raisin. It is the best cookie. If you disagree, I will
You
fight
like
you in a
that
Denny's
cookie?
parking lot.
I do not disagree.
I will fight you in a Denny's parking lot. If I see chocolate chip in my cookie jar, I spit on it. And I'm like, no, oatmeal raisin. I am 80 years old. Give me my fucking... what is it? I don't... What... Fiber? Yeah. There you go.
I respect it.
Yeah. Patch
Yeah.
Echo says, based on this week's cutscene, it sounds like the Witness really wants the Veil and Traveler connected. So my question is,
Yes.
why was the Witness fine with leaving the Veil on Neomuna? I thought it was hidden there. He
It
didn't
was
know.
hidden, yeah.
got
Savathun hit
ranged
it, right?
Savathun hit it there.
Savathun hit it. Savathun is the true boss. She's
It's like
great.
that one beam of sunlight that like pokes through that little hole in your blinds when you're sleeping. It just like stabs you directly in the eye.
Yeah, fuck that beam of sunlight.
He knew that. Yeah. Yeah. That shit traveled 8 minutes to personally fuck your eyeball up.
Yeah.
That's vindictive as shit, man. I
That
hate
is.
the
That's-
sun. Blow it
that's
up.
just
We don't need
mean,
it
man.
anymore.
Gareth Evans says, spin on a classic question. Who would win in a favorite drink and snake drinking game snake fight? Well, Ren's the only one who's got a snake in their possession.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's dumb and he's never bit anyone, so it's like, whatever.
Mylan has most access to most deadliest of snakes, so I feel like he's got a
I do
major
too.
leg up.
Ren's in Australia too.
Oh,
do
my bad.
too.
Didn't realize.
Yeah. It's gonna be you guys going
Mm,
against each other.
yeah.
Battling. I don't
You're
think
not
we
a
even
real
really
Australian,
have
are you,
many.
Red?
Huh? What'd you say, Matt?
Said you're not a real Australian though, are you?
No, I did pay the fee though. I'm currently
Do you have your pen
waiting
license?
to my what?
Pen licenence?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Pen?
Oh,
I told ya. I told
there we
you.
go. Get her out of Australia. Get her out. I can't believe they let anyone become Australian these days.
Okay, look, I haven't had my jar of or my spoonful of Vegemite as my citizenship application, like as part of the citizenship application test. That's the next step.
Oof. I would recommend
So-
just skipping that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
it's
intended
a way
to
part of my
flee.
mouth.
Vegemite
I
is
went
disgusting.
into. Okay, you're definitely not Australian. I went into. I was playing this game called Battle Bit. It's like Battlefield, and it's all open mic. And it was an Australian server, and I just screamed to the mic, "Who's got their pen license?" And then someone's like, "I failed mine." Everyone's running around.
No, I failed mine.
Zachary Richard says, what is your favorite cowboy western movie? For me, it's a toss-up between Rengo or True Grit with Jeff Bridges.
That was pretty good.
Cowboy movie. You guys ever seen Bone Tomahawk?
No.
Oh, I recommend it. It was pretty good. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's the one. It had an impact, especially at the end.
I actually
might be
liked
a-
310
I
to
have a
Yuma.
favorite.
I thought 310 was pretty good.
That was to Yuma, 310 to Yuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Is Back to the Future Part 2 a cowboy western?
Absolutely.
No, 3, not
True.
2, 3. Then that one. That one.
Wait, no one likes Wild West with Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Wow, wow, was. Yeah.
Yep, that's the best right there.
Nigger the Baker says, hello, DCP. Do you guys think the Cabal are all huddled in a room together watching Iron Banner matches and betting on who wins? Oh, that's a pleasant thought.
Yeah,
Apparently,
apparently.
that's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what
I like to
Saladin
think-
says.
I like to think they bet in like punching each other. Like whoever wins the bet gets to punch everybody else.
I like it.
I think that's very Cabal.
It's like
right?
playing Punch Buggy.
Yeah. Just broken teeth. Wait, do Cabal have teeth? Yeah, they have teeth.
Yeah,
Yes.
they got teeth.
Yeah.
Well, I have
Dude,
teeth.
I can't think of any other. What's the name of that dude that's got the bucket on his head? Ned
Callus.
Kelly.
Okay.
That was his name, Ned Kelly, right, Matt? The guy who ran around
Yeah, Ned
Australia
Kelly, yeah.
stealing from banks with a bucket on his head. Yeah, that's the only person I can think of when I look at Callus with
Is
that stupid hat
is
on.
it? Look, the history's pretty bad. I mean, he was definitely the
So
first
dumb.
Australian to have armor. He's got he put a bucket head on, with a little eye slit. But he also
And
didn't he
that's-
die the first time he wore it?
I don't know, but that's all you need to know about why the Australians lost the Emu War. Like that's literally it.
Oh, there's so much more history we would need to know about the Emu War.
Well, they gave one guy
I
with a
could give
bucket
you a
head,
Ned
a bunch
Kel-
of bullets, and then they ran out.
Yeah, I'll give you a history lesson of Ned Kelly another time.
Hugo
Australians have a
ruins-
fascination with like outback outlaws,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stealing sheep.
Hugo Ruin 79 says, "My son Daniel is celebrating his 20th birthday today." Pause
cool.
for a shout out.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Daniel.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Daniel.
Happy birthday.
What seemingly happy
birthday.
event has led to the soul-crushing realization that you are a lot older than you think you are? And what was your subsequent comfort food?
So I know this one.
Yeah, this one happened to me today.
I got a comment. I got a comment on a video on my whiskey channel where a guy was like,
Oh.
"Yo, TV, I was watching you when I was in middle school. Now I'm taking whiskey advice from you." I was like, "Oh
Right?
no."
Right? Oh god, that
Yeah, that'll
happens a
get
lot actually, where they come and stream and they're like, I started watching you when I was and now I got a job, I'm getting married, I'm engaged, got a baby on the way. I'm like, oh.
I didn't name my third kid after you, but I named my sixth dog after you.
Why would you write something so hurtful?
I don't know if I've had that yet. I mean, I just had my 31st, but my 31st I got to dance with a penguin at an aquarium. So
Oh,
like,
that sounds
I'm
fun.
living, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did also see a very cool fish.
Okay.
You can check it out on Twitter. It's very, very cool and very real, and definitely
Yep.
not a poop sock.
Oh. Now I think it's probably a poop sock.
No, it's definitely not.
So last night I went golfing. I went to we had like a tournament. It was like a solstice tournament, like the longest day of the year.
Oh, I thought you said a salsa
daylight.
tournament. I was
Salsa
like,
tournament
dang,
would be more
Briar's in a
fun.
salsa tournament.
So-
I'd pay to see
Dude,
that.
I'd love that.
We played. It was awesome. I drank probably just a hair too much, but like it was reasonable. We stopped golfing at about like 9 o'clock. It was dark. We won the tournament. We were all very excited, which led to a couple more beers. I went home last night, and I was hitting the ball pretty good last night, so I figured this morning I woke up, I went to the driving range. I'll hit a few more, a couple things I could work on, and I was too sore to hit balls in the driving range from golfing last night. I was like,
Oh,
fuck, man,
yeah.
I am old.
Yeah.
So I went and got a
Yeah.
burrito at Chipotle.
And then you got heartburn.
And then had 3 Tums.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Am I the youngest person here?
And mine's always just like,
Yes, probably.
I mean, this has been going on for a while now. We don't want to go out. You're like, I don't want to go to a nightclub. I don't want to go drinking. I want to
sounds
stay
awful.
home in PJs and like,
You know,
I'd
when
play
you
Tears
as soon
of
as
the
you allow
Kingdom.
yourself to be comfy, it's real hard to not be comfy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing about a nightclub that sounds appealing to me. To be
Yeah.
100%
No.
honest.
it's like the worst thing ever. Yeah.
Oh, great. I can leave my house where it's really noisy and go to another place where it's really noisy.
It's
Well,
Pay
that
never
for me.
appealed to me.
to have 2 drinks.
That's right. Yeah, and I make cocktails at home, like with all fresh ingredients, for a third of the price you pay at any of those places. So.
Yeah, that whole scene never appealed to me.
No.
No.
Grim Invictus says, out of all the massive battles we've read about in the Destiny lore, which one do you think would look the coolest in a cinematic cutscene or even live action with CGI?
Ooh. I want to see, you know when Anna and Zavala go to the Almighty? And
Yeah.
you see Zavala's fist like Arthur from that one meme, and it just crackles with lightning.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to see him duke it out and just start thunderclapping people in the face.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I want that. I'm real simple. I just like me a punchy bitch.
I want to see
I'm-
Shaxx in action.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to
Yeah,
see
I'd
the
like to
karate
see him do
chop?
something.
Dude, yeah, okay, there it is.
And then-
Yeah.
You remember that awesome little arts cutscene we got of Saint 14
Yeah.
during Season of Plunder,
Mm.
where he's like the big bad that's like, you know, killing all the wives and kids of the fallen? That would be pretty cool. Not the whole genocide part, but just seeing Saint, you know, and like the whole nightmare story. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
the retelling of it through the Elixir lens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, you could frame that as like a horror movie. Like I would watch the shit out of that. I think that would be really fucking cool.
Yeah, there's a scene where Shax like splits someone in half with an axe. I
Wait,
think
wasn't
it's
that-
long ways. I can't remember.
Wasn't it Saladin that did that? With the tournament on
Oh,
Kaido's
Rin,
ship or
you've already
something?
shown me up once. All right, you're fucking invited again on the show. Pissing me off.
I did my homework.
Why don't you go make a goddamn lore video if you're so goddamn good at it, huh?
Okay, look, I have ADHD. I don't choose what I remember. I remember that, and I remember that I called the flower that you asked me what the awoken huff pedal butt. Okay, those are like the two things I remember. So
You know, Rin, I'm hiring law script writers right now. Where's your application?
I have to go.
ZJ says, if the eyes are the windows to the soul, what are the curtains? Bangs?
The glasses,
The
The
shades.
contact lenses I wear.
because
That's
some
true,
people
you gotta
don't have
cast
them,
those first.
and
Really
and it's
bushy
weird that they
eyebrows.
don't.
You know, like those old man eyebrows. That
like
Yeah.
the dad from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and at the
Yeah.
end his eyes. Like,
Yeah.
that movie is so good. I fucking love it.
It was a good movie.
Mm.
CJ Estes says, what do you think moral level at Bungie is right now? Morale level, sorry.
Morale.
I feel for them. Do you think the devs take all the negativity to heart? I just picture a Bungie employee crying in the bathroom most days after scrolling through Twitter.
I think when you make something and you understand how much work it goes into it, I even think if the community doesn't like it, having a intricate level of knowledge of what it takes to create what they do every season, I think you'd still be proud of it, even if the community's crying about stuff, because like people are not very happy with Destiny right now. But if you just look at the content, like the dungeon, the armor, there's still lots of good stuff in there.
Yeah. And like the guy who works on the armor doesn't give a shit what you think about PvP matchmaking. It doesn't affect his day,
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I think narrative would be hard. I actually think the narrative team would be hard because it's such a subjective thing, and I get triggered when people actually me, and I can't imagine like being actually by a whole community about a witness cutscene and like what's previous. And the likelihood is, the original writers are not there. There's someone who's got their dream job in writing creatively with a game company, and it's like, here you go, here's 8 years of lore, and by the way, the lore community are absolute psychos, and if you get anything wrong, they're gonna rip your head off. Yeah, have fun.
They will find out where you
not
live.
gonna be easy.
I feel like you'd have to have a measure of tough skin to work in the gaming
would.
industry. Like,
Or you just
and
separate
if
yourself.
you don't,
You wouldn't want to be
yeah.
on Twitter, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of them they just have healthy boundaries. They've got their community liaisons. It's their job to deal with the community, not mine. So I'm gonna put my work out there, stick to my circles.
Also, you got to think that these people know what's coming next as well. So it might be the case that we're like, this
True.
doesn't make any sense, and they're like, just wait until
It's
like
gonna.
2 seasons from now.
and then they have to sit on their hands because they don't want to spoil
And they can't
it,
say
you know?
anything, and they're probably looking at it. See,
Yep.
I would not be able to look at the screen and people talk a bunch of crap, and you have the answer, and it's being made right now.
Just you wait, motherfucker! I'm gonna be so right in 6 months.
Samuel Brownlee says, Briar Rabbit, what is the most important for you for a game release? Steam Deck compatibility or a physical release? We can't have both, I guess. Physical release will only be for Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. It depends on the game, right? Like Starfield, I'm definitely going to play on PC, and I'm hoping that it'll be Steam Deck compatible. I don't really care about a physical release for that because I'm not going to plan on playing it at 30 FPS. I'd rather play it at 60 on PC. But for a game that's on it so rarely overlaps, like I'm looking for PlayStation or Switch games physically. Anything on PC, I'm hoping it's Steam Deck related. Loneliness says, this is more a statement than a question, but I just had to thank all of you hosts and special guests that are a part of making the show, especially Briar Watts and Mylan.
Aw.
Thanks, Gab.
Celtic Stone says, what do you all think of the third darkness subclass would look like? Theme, color, etc.
It's kinetic. We already discussed this. It's white. And there's rocks.
No.
So all of the darkness subclasses stem from like a realm of consciousness or thought, right?
Right.
Like that's
Yeah,
all-
let's consult the lore expert.
Talking to me?
I'm asking for corroboration.
Yeah, which one? There's so many on here.
Where's
right now.
Astacross? Get him
Do you
in
know
here.
someone in chat said Miles at number 6? Someone said Miles at number 6 lore channel.
Yeah, I know. It hurts when chat tells the truth, Mylan.
So it's realms of thought, right? Like it's the right. So I want a subclass that like you throw a grenade and it just gives everybody depression, and so they just lose their will to fight, and you're just like, all right, job's done.
Emotion, yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with red as the color, and it's anger, fury, rage.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Yo. Pretty cool. How much
Berserk?
you want to bet Titans are gonna punch?
No, it
They
never
might.
happened.
They might punch.
That's ridiculous.
I'm uncertain.
Their supers just let their fists grow comically like 6 times the size.
They just get Hulk hands.
That'd be great.
What if
I don't know if we'll get another
Crazy.
darkness subclass.
I don't think
You
we
don't
will.
think?
No.
We're gonna get
We'll get
the
one
next
more
thing
for
we're gonna
final
get
shape?
is after final shape to set us up for post final shape. That's what I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think post final shape maybe, if anything. I kind of don't want another subclass, although I like absolutely love and adore Strand. I think it's one of the best subclasses, and it's actually added a lot of fun to the game. I feel like whenever they develop a subclass, other parts of the game need to suffer. So, come final shape, I kind of want everything to be on final shape.
You want them to bring it on home. They got a lot to tie
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to bring something else in though, because like you have the fabric of the universe, you have entropy. There's a third thing there. There's a third thing that makes the universe go. You kind of gotta like make the thing to, you know. You can't have one end of the spectrum
Yeah.
and not the other. I don't know. Maybe it's just a gigantic.
I don't know, man. I'm
explosion.
just number 6 law channel. I don't know.
It's hard being near the bottom of the top.
Got nothing to lose.
Slothy says, public toilet question time. Would you rather sit on an ice cold, nearly freezing toilet seat or one that's incredibly warm from a very recent previous user?
No,
Cold.
cold.
Old. Yeah.
I
The warm
would-
thing's gonna make you feel weird about it.
Yeah, but nearly freezing? That's
Oh.
a cold seat. Isn't that going to make you kind of
fine.
pucker up? Make the
Don't
deed
wanna
a
be
little harder
cold
than
or
before?
Make you
have
do
a
your business
disease.
quickly.
You know,
That's right.
Those are my options.
I would simply find
Unless
the
you're
nearest
in
body of water
Japan,
and pee myself.
Mm. Be in the water.
I don't want either.
You know, it could be like a seat warmer. You could be like in Japan or something. You don't know if it's a seat warmer or if it's someone before you. That might be nice.
It could
That's
be.
true.
Mm.
That's true.
Fool yourself into believing that anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow, this thing has heated seats. I can't believe it. It looks so normal.
Oh, they're moist too.
No, it's just been cleaned, I'm sure. Clean thoroughly.
Nice.
It's sanitizing.
Don't really laugh.
If
I'm
I had,
dying
if
over
I
here.
had to choose one, freezing toilet seat. I can warm it up. It's fine.
It should.
Yeah.
Zabe says, Ren, have you ever danced the Nutbush?
I have,
Oh.
and I hated it.
Okay. Good.
Oh, you've done one of the 3 Australian things today. Good one.
Okay, what's the other
Damn.
two?
Fucking gatekeeping a continent. That's not a good look, man.
pen license and Vegemite. You're
Let's see your
1 for
pen
3 right
license.
now.
Let's see your pen license, motherfucker.
You're
Go
the-
get it.
Good point.
You're
Like,
the-
doesn't have a
it's at
pen
my mum
license.
and
It's at another school. You don't know her.
it's at my mum and dad's in that one cabinet that they've got all that shit from primary school with the merit certificates and the pen license in there somewhere. And it says Matt is a diligent student. He's been working on his handwriting very much, and I hereby announce his pen license.
And when you get pulled over by the police and they're like, Matt, where's your pen license?
Yeah.
What are they
Is
what
that
are
a
you
bullet
gonna do?
point in your pocket? Felt
Yeah.
tip?
Well, I definitely don't act surprised like I don't know what a pen license is. That's for sure.
You've been demoted to number 6 Australian.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a foreigner. You can't judge me.
Io Remnant says, "Are y'all having a good day? If not, then make it one." Good advice.
I'm having the
Yes.
best day. I played Final Fantasy 16 and it's the best game ever.
I started
So-
my day in the ER.
Oh, that's a bad day.
I was doing work in the yard last night, and I had a spring-loaded cable snap back, and it caught me in the wrist.
Oof.
And I have no feeling in my thumb
Oh god.
from here to
Oh,
here.
shit.
Oh.
So I've
Oh,
got where it happened, it's all inflamed, and it's like inflamed around the nerve. So until that inflammation goes down, that nerve is like pinched. So I have tingling and numbness all up my thumb. It's
Ugh.
fun.
What do they
it
recommend for it? Ice or any kind
Ice and ibuprofen.
of yeah.
Yep.
Bring down
Yeah.
the swelling.
But I was just
Shit.
grateful it wasn't any like permanent nerve damage. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it these 2 fingers too?
Nope, it's just the thumb. Just from here to here. I can't feel that.
Dang.
Wow.
Ooh.
DLN says, question for Briar, you're outside in your perfectly mown lawn, Crocs in sport mode, and cold beer in hand. Which snack are you choosing? Mint Choco Chip Mylan, Tofu Tefty, Wasabi Watts, Jalapeno J Poppers, Lego Linguine, or a TV and J sandwich? Boy, those all sound so good.
There's nothing hard about that, man.
Good names.
Cold beer and jalapenos go well. Mint and beer do not go.
I think the Wasabi Watts.
Oh.
I think the Wasabi Watts. Like, I was picturing something
Wasabi?
kind of crunchy, something handheld that go good with beer.
Wait, you just want to eat me because I eat you.
True.
This is just revenge cannibalism.
Charles Simmons says, if you had to choose a Destiny 2 exotic weapon to use in the kitchen for cooking, which one would it be? A Destiny 2 exotic weapon in the kitchen for cooking.
Something with fire.
One of the swords.
Does it have to? Was it a weapon or is it any exotic?
Exotic weapon.
Okay.
Any of the warlock dresses would be good. Keep all the splashes off of your good clothes.
Yeah. Jotun as a toaster might be
That's
helpful.
true.
There you go.
Yeah,
My
Jotun's
toaster
pretty
doesn't need
good.
replacing.
Cold heart, maybe. Cold heart, so you can freeze some beers. Like have ice cold beers. straight
Sold.
away. Like,
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Genius.
Monte
What a party
Carlo
trick.
to chop. He's got
Yep,
the bayonet on
That's
the tip.
that is a knife.
I would want world lines so I could tesseract from where I am to the kitchen
Okay.
and back. So not really
I
changing
just
anything in the
imagine
kitchen,
you
just
just,
my
like-
mode to get there.
imagine you getting splattered on the wall. It's like,
I got halfway there. I mean, the wall's made of drywall. I should go through it, right?
Yeah.
At the very least.
Just
If I
don't hit a
fuck up,
stud.
I'm fine.
probably.
Yeah. Or just get a harder forehead. Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of different ways to say, like, get beer. And I'm thinking like the portal gun. Imagine if you had the portal gun, you just put a portal in the fridge and then on the wall next to the couch so you could just reach into the cold
That would
fridge,
be good.
grab a beer.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Or if you're like outside mowing the lawn, you could just like portal gun into the fridge, grab a beer.
I
I'd
would
put a-
never put my arm through a portal ever. I would never do it. I don't care. It is the concept is terrifying to me. What if the portal gun is just like, Lamau, I'm a Logitech controller and I broke. Now you don't have an arm.
True.
The Logitech controller was found to be intact. Actually,
That
the one thing that
doesn't
survived.
surprise me because the controller was the least worrisome part of that entire circumstance. But
Briar, listen. The correct way to use that portal gun is day one raid. You put a portal right over the opening of your toilet. And you never have to leave the chair.
Good thinking.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then
You're putting in the real gamer hours.
But then I'm going to be pooping inside my fridge.
No, remove the fridge portal first. That's step one.
It's going to be piss all over my beer. Three Bros, One Controller podcast is random perks on a Nerf gun. Random perks on a Nerf gun.
Random perks on a Nerf.
Rewind. We won rounds. You'd have to pick them up.
Yeah.
So you definitely the reload thing, like subsistence. Yeah.
My kids had those when they were little, and I still find those darts places. They're 21 now.
Kill clip.
Kill clip. Bucko16 says, have we learned what the veiled statues are yet?
They're the hot ladies.
They are. It's true.
They're
Yeah,
they're the
what
hot
are they?
ladies.
What are they? What are the
I don't know why you're asking me for.
Because the other 5 aren't here. Let me text Astacross. He's not going to get back to me in time.
Well, they were in the cuts. I actually haven't gone back and looked at that. They were in the cutscene with the witnesses people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the whole stolen artwork was.
Mm-hmm.
The veiled statue was in front of the.
What if
I'll have to
that's
have a
what's
look again.
inside the veil? What if it's just a hot lady?
Well, Chad's saying clarity control. Yeah, originally we were talking about clarity, but I don't know if that's true anymore after the cutscene. Clovis Bray found it.
So her name is Clarity.
Clarity control. It like emitted darkness, which is how they made the exos.
She's Cade.
But like, I guess it's meant to. Is it not meant to be the witnesses' civilization? That's why they had the veils on. The original and the first part of the cutscene, right?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm sure someone in the YouTube comments will say, Marlon, why are you slacking? There's lore on this. If you go back to 2019, there's a lore entry by.
He's sick. Leave him alone.
It's like that comment a couple
I know.
weeks
I'm a bit
ago.
grumpy today, aren't I?
Let's say there's that comment from the show a couple weeks ago where the guy in the comments of the YouTube upload was like, "Why did Mylan slack in here? There are real lore answers to these questions." And you responded to him. You're like, "Oh, please educate me." I had a good chuckle over that. I was like, "Oh, Mylan's picking fights in the comments."
And by the way, they were talking about an entry from 2019. Sorry, I didn't remember that off the top of my head. And then I went, you know what? No, it's got me pissed off. So I went back to my law experts, my friends, and I said, hey, is this right? And they said, actually, it doesn't confirm that was Oryx. There's multiple interpretations. It could actually be something completely different. So
What the fuck are you guys reading comments for?
I know. What are you
I don't
reading
know.
comments for?
I'm in a spiral. I'm in a bad
Nothing but
place.
pain and
Get
suffering
off
in there.
the internet, Milo. Put it away. No more reading, only gaming. No
That's where
reading.
you went wrong. You tried to read.
Did you get your reading license? You shouldn't be doing that. Causing yourself harm.
Donnie Peslis says, "Love you all. You each get a total You each get total control of one another's stream for one day. What do you do, and can the streams recover?" Hashtag free theft. Oh, I like that. Hashtag free theft.
Should free thefty.
If I'm Briar, I'm doing a cooking stream, and I am the protein.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I would take over Matt's stream and I would just get one of those really cheap knockoff beards from like the cosplay stores or whatever, and then I would just yell at everybody for about 4 or 5 hours.
So no change.
That's about it.
It would be the same.
It's just the
It would be
same.
exactly
It's the
the
same.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to do that, you know?
I would take over my own stream as well, and I would just be as inaccurate as possible at all times.
Oh, misinformation for fun?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
a normal stream.
Like kind of close, but like Wrong.
If I take over the stream, can I pretend to be Mylan so that when people think it's Mylan, so when you're being super wrong and making up insane theories, they're like extra mad.
Yeah, yeah.
And extra actually.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because I would love to see the hobbits all riled up, and then I can just laugh at them.
It'd be like giving
Don't
candy
be
to
mean
like
to
your
the
nephew.
hobbits.
No, a lot of the hobbits
That's
are
your
very
job.
nice. The nice ones are always in my stream.
Yeah, just because the other ones are bad. It's funny because it's true. Yeah, hold on. But you also said when the cutscene came out, you said, thank God for the hobbits as we were
I did.
sitting there on reset,
That's true.
analyzing the cutscene.
Although I
trying to
asked for
work it
someone to
out.
explain it, and it's like, well, if you take the pen to the top of the mountain, and then the mountain has a thunderstrike, and then this is what you find in the deepest depths of the dungeon. I'm like, what does that mean? I need it.
Yeah,
you
you
know
gotta break
what?
it down.
We really need like lore for absolute dummies, where you break it down in just
That's
the
what my
most
channel is.
simplest
How do you
way.
think we
No,
got
it's
here?
not.
No,
Simpler,
yours is for
Mike.
smart
It
people
is.
that know how to
Simpler.
read. That is literally a thing that I've been working on, actually. I have been working on this idea of like paraphrasing the entirety of the Destiny universe in as little words as possible to be accurate enough that people understand what's going on, but
Right.
it's also
Yeah.
going to be just filled with so much misinformation.
I like that part of it.
Like, we
That's
don't
good.
need to understand all the nitty gritty. I just want to be able to
Yeah.
understand, like, what the hell that cutscene mean. Who the hell is the gardener and the winnower, right? I'm sure a lot of people do not know who the hell that is. Who saw that cutscene?
A bunch of
I
guys
got
went
out
a ball.
paint.
Wow.
Paint is
used
good. I
paint.
did like that. That was visual learning. That was good stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a visual
You
learner
and your
too.
amazing drawings.
Go Faster in Use says, serious question time. With the shaky state of the game and the recent flaming from Lore Father, Aztecross, and Dado Does Destiny, among others, do you see any changes on the horizon, or are they just letting the game languish into obscurity until the next drop? It's awfully quiet. Well, they're working on stuff. They
Guys,
can't respond to drama like this. Pretty ridiculous.
So there's a couple things. One thing, yeah, if they're gonna respond to a bunch of stuff, they have to have a bunch of meetings before they respond to the stuff, right? Second of all, this is the only thing that's making them money. Why would they just be like, bye Destiny, good luck? Like, people who are working on anything are being paid by the money that Destiny makes. They have to care about Destiny. If they don't care about Destiny, Bungie doesn't exist as a company.
Yeah,
don't
people
think
seem
they
to
will.
forget the fact that Destiny is like the only thing that makes them money. Like, yes, they did get a big deal from Sony, but like,
Yeah.
they still need to. Destiny still needs to exist. They still need to keep their player base happy.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
the doom and gloom thing is I get it, but it's just, I don't know, it's not accurate to reality.
Yeah, people being upset and disappointed and all that stuff. Absolutely. It's the whole like, but Destiny's abandoned, Bungie's giving it up, everyone's working on Marathon. Marathon's the game. It's
There is nobody in those offices. It is empty.
We just got AI working on Destiny now.
yeah, it's just AI. Yeah.
Chat GPT is doing all the lore.
Shit, maybe I should start punching these questions into the chat.
You should see what happens.
Hi, Jay. I don't know how you write in chat.
You have to say
GPT
hi.
or
How
whatever
are
it's
you?
called.
Hope your day's
Hi.
been
You
well.
don't need to treat it like it's fucking Connor from Detroit Become Human, Matt. You just type into the thing.
I will,
Hello,
because it's
first
respectful.
time
Hi,
caller, long
Mr.
time
AI.
listener.
Please review the top 5 lore Destiny channel and discover what the winner is and write me a 5,000-word essay.
Cobalt says, hey DCP, when you get a haircut, do you expect it to look good on the same day, or does it take a few days for it to grow in for you to like it? Is this a cultural thing or a difference between men and women? Curious for your thoughts.
I expect to love it right away.
I don't necessarily.
Couple days.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's 2 days.
Currently, I like just kind of
Yes.
got it like the whole shave thing, and that one's gonna take a bit.
It depends on your hairstyle as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got like a really precise fade and clean lines, then yeah, on day one you want it to look good. But
Yeah.
for a lot of us, especially living the dad life, it's you're like, man, make it look good, I don't care. And I'll give it
if
a
you
couple
got
of days.
tan lines too, like that's gonna look weird
Yeah.
because like you're gonna have like a white like outline, especially on the back of your neck around where the hair used to be but no longer is. Like you should never get if you're going to like prom or getting married or something where there's gonna be a lot of photos, get your hair cut like a week before that. Don't do it the day of.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna look weird. Hey Blaze says, when will the community stop reading something online and assuming it's fact? Remember when content creators were being issued DMCAs by a scoundrel posing as Bungie? Remember when data miners made up a fake leak to Bungie's detriment and then the leakers said they were only joking? Yeah, I mean, that's part of being online, I guess.
What is this referring to, though?
This is media literacy issue. This is like the fact that people just believe whatever, and like I'm guilty of this too. I'm a very naive individual, which I'm trying to work on. I just not believing everything that I read online, but like
sometimes you don't even
media
see
literacy-
the source. You see like the reaction to
Yeah.
it, so you can't even judge for yourself if the source is accurate.
media literacy is just absolutely awful. People just need to learn how to check their sources.
There are actually like colleges and universities that have started offering media literacy courses, which I think are really valuable and should be part of like your high school curriculum.
Yeah, that sounds good to me too.
Mhm.
That makes
Like
a lot of sense.
learning how to ask the right questions and verify information. I think those are invaluable skills.
Yeah, I don't see the GOP letting that one go.
Are we going there?
Ryan Gilliam says, I've been a part of the Destiny community for 9 years. Beta?
Wow.
I've been covering it professionally for 6 of those years. With that said, the Bungie only cares about Marathon now. RIP Destiny 2 thing is easily the stupidest community tantrum or theory yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I think we've already covered this. It's not that
Yeah.
they only care about it because Destiny does still need to exist. They don't intentionally go out to make a bad game because they need Destiny to keep making money. Doesn't mean they make always the right decisions. But it's also like, yeah, Destiny will be. Marathon is the new kid on the block. It is going to get all the new bells and whistles, and that's just kind of the reality. Is they're prepping for that to be a good game and have a good release. And there is potential for it to, completely destroy Destiny. But I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, I think as with most things, it's more nuanced than that. You know what I mean? It's not just one or the other. Bungie full abandonment. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but you'll look at the people on the project, and yeah, it's true. They were Destiny people. They're some giants in Destiny history. So there's some truth. It may not be the whole truth or even most of the truth, but there's some truth to it, and it does actually validate some feelings. So I don't know. I think truth is on a spectrum in a lot of different things in life.
XX Sniper No Scopes XX says, what's the most important part of a peanut butter jelly sandwich? The bread, the peanut butter, or the jelly?
The banana, apparently.
Oh, the banana is a good part, but not technically part of a peanut butter
The
jelly sandwich.
mayonnaise.
Oh, what the fuck, Watts? Why would you say something so hateful?
Oh, just no.
I don't eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I
Why
can
not?
say such heathenistic things. I don't really like peanut butter.
You don't?
Oh.
Like
Just
in
enjoy
any
it.
context?
Just like
Can
the
I
flavor.
have all the peanut butter candy?
Yes.
Do you like
You
Reese's
can have
peanut
all
butter
my
cups?
mayo flavored
Mm,
candy.
You don't like
they're
Reese's
pretty.
peanut butter?
They're like right at the bottom compared to every single European chocolate ever made in the
Well, I
history.
understand that you prefer European chocolate over, but you don't like a Reese's. So I was just hand you a Reese's peanut butter cup. You would say no, thank you, and fuck
I
you
would
for
say-
even putting
I
this
would
near me.
say, I'd say no, thank you. I don't know about the other part. And say, oh, thank.
What
Actually,
about
I'd probably
peanut
say
butter
thank you
cookies?
and not eat it. No.
No, No peanut butter at all.
If out of all the flavors in the world, I don't go for peanut butter.
Peanut chicken?
Wow. I thought I knew.
Chicken.
Peanut curry?
Peanut and curry is pretty good. I don't like
Hot
it
eye
in
curry?
I don't like it in sweets.
I love a good peanut sauce.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah,
a
peanut sauce is
texture
very
guy. I'm a texture guy. So for me, it's crunchy peanut butter or bust.
Yuck. I'm learning
What is
so
it like
much
to
about
be
my
wrong?
co-host tonight, and I am so disturbed.
Listen,
lose
if
co-hosts
a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is soft and then mush in between, I want something to crunch on.
You want some texture? Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Mm. Do you also eat the
But
bones of
you
people?
guys,
Say what? Eat the bones of the animal? Depends on the animal. I did have a meal once in Hong Kong where they wanted you to eat the whole baby chicken.
Yes,
The
I've
whole
seen
big-
this.
What?
Yes, they do this in France
Yeah.
as well.
And their bones are hollow and tiny, and so they do it for the texture. You get the little crunch in there with the protein.
In France, I
And
think
that
they
was-
give you a towel to put over your head so nobody has to watch you do it.
It was strange. I mean, I did it
I
because it's like
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was there.
I get
wanted
it.
to experience the experience.
It was weird how they're still like squeaking when they put them in your mouth. Like that first bite is a little sad, but the rest of it's delicious.
I
Yeah.
get the texture thing. I think the most important thing with a PBJ though is the absolute coverage of the bread from side to side of peanut butter
Mm-hmm.
and then jam on the other side.
Okay, but if
Because
you had to
there's
lose
any
one
just
thing,
leftover,
which would
no,
it
see,
be?
it's not jam. It's jelly. It's different.
oh whatever, it's the same shit. It's the
Nah, you guys
same.
use
It's the
grapes, don't you?
same.
Jelly's grapes, isn't it?
Is there
No,
any?
No,
jelly
jam
is
is-
jam. It's peanut butter and jam on the sandwich.
So
Is
jelly
it
It's not like
strawberry or is it
yellow.
grapes?
Blackberry.
No, it's not the fruit, Matt. It's jelly is the leftover liquid stuff that then gets a harder shape. It jellifies, right? Jam has the fruit in it.
Yeah.
As a part of the jelly, right? Okay, so like
Is that the
jam
difference?
is,
I didn't know
is
this.
just jam is mushed fruit. Jelly is the goo that comes from the mushed fruit.
Okay, so why did you say jam then if you know the difference?
They're the same fucking thing.
But you just told us what the difference
Well, you
is.
just told me
They
that
are
first. You just said the
They are
difference.
functionally the same thing for a sandwich, okay? If I have strawberry jam and strawberry jelly on a PBJ, they are the same fucking thing.
But you just told us
However-
the
So you've
difference.
got a random explanation
On
difference between
scones,
jelly and
it's a bit of a
jam.
different argument, okay? Scones, you never jelly a scone. You always jam a scone.
But do you put peanut butter on it?
Fuck no.
Well, that solves that then.
Well,
Jelly,
Sublime has the
jelly
best
is a
question.
component
Is
of
PB&J
jam.
a taco, Mylan?
Yes.
Is PB&J
Yes.
a taco?
We'll have to. What is the four
Is it
square
a
method?
shawarma kebab, Mylan?
What was that website? Was it the
Don't do this to
the
me.
four square method? What was it? The box method?
Oh, dude, I hate that rule. If you take the bread and you got
The
jam
ca-
on one
oh,
side
that-
and the
the
peanut butter on the
cube
other
rule.
and fold
The
it, it's a
cube rule.
taco.
All right.
But if you crimp the sides down, it becomes a ravioli.
I thought that was a burrito.
No. Burritos have sides.
You just said sides.
No,
You're
I said
very
you crimp it
confusing.
down. I am an enigma. This is true.
That's gonna do it. Once again,
There's so
we've
much
answered
more for you to
all of the
debate to have,
questions in the
Brian.
Destiny universe.
Jam, jelly, peanuts,
What?
tacos, burritos,
A taco, peanut butter and jelly taco,
peanut butter and jelly taco.
peanut butter and jelly
Is a burrito bowl still a burrito? Did that just break everybody's brain? The dead quiet.
We're gonna leave you on that little question.
Good luck.
Write in next week to tell us if a burrito bowl is still a burrito. Thank you all for listening. Rin, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. It was very fun having you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
We'll see
sorry I
you
made you
next
lose
week,
brain cells.
hopefully with less drama. But maybe
No,
Maybe
no
a little
bacon on
drama.
it though.
That's up to the community, really.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.